we're going to have here with Richardson is he's had pulled muscles, and he's had those pulled muscles now for several months, and they've been plaguing him. 3 times he has been down, so to speak, from injuries. David Watson from TCU. He comes in with a best time of 10 and 39/100ths of a second. In lane 4, in the center of the track, the man I consider in track and field to be bionic, Carl Lewis from the University of Houston. He's run 10-1. He is outstanding in 2 and possibly 3 events should he ever turn his attention to the hurdles. Herky Walls, the great fullback, the great back for Texas, in lane 5 with a best time of 10 and 35/100ths of a second. He's had 3 sensational legs this year in 200-meter relays. In lane 6, Bruce Davis from Baylor, 10 and 22/100ths of a second is his best. On the outside in lane 7 to the right of your screen, James Washington from Texas A&M.
Pretty good football players in here too. Herky Walls, who played 5 positions for the University of Texas, and Bruce Davis, the defensive back from Baylor. Let's see what Rod Richardson from Texas A&M can do on the inside. It looks like it's Carl Lewis of Houston out in front. It is Carl Lewis way out in front. Lewis winning by at least 5 yards over Bruce Davis of Baylor and Rod Richardson of Texas A&M. I'd say a 5-yard victory, wouldn't you, Larry?
Ooh, I don't want to be Herky Walls right now when you kind of get psyched up for facing Carl Lewis, and he just absolutely blows you right off the track. Look how smooth he is. He is the essence of talent. 6'2", 170 pounds of sheer talent. Dash man in high school by a full second.
All right, I believe Ralph has Carl Lewis with him, so let's go to the infield for Ralph Boston.
Thanks, Frank. This is Carl Lewis, yes, and he's done quite a bit today. They gave you a little bit too much to make up on that sprint relay.
Well, we've been running fairly well, and we haven't really won since the Penn relays together. And that's our best time of the year, so we're really happy for it.
Okay, now you've completed a long jump, 27-1, and just won 100 meters. What else are you going to do today?
Well, I had the 200 meters left, and since we had the rain yesterday, I'm going to run in the slow heat. So I'm really going to have to run hard, and I'm looking forward to that.
Okay, listen, when you get a little time, you want to come over and handle this mic for me? It seems you do everything else so well.
Okay, thank you.
Congratulations, Carl. We'll see you later on today.
All right, thank you.
Back up to you, gentlemen.
All right, we'll be back with the next running event, which is the 800-meter run at the scene of the 1981 Southwest Conference Track and Field Championships from Morrison Bell Track on the campus of SMU in Dallas in just a moment. Carl Lewis of the University of Houston. Lane 3, Herky Walls of Texas. Lane 4, Devin Lewis of Houston. Lane 5, Larry Brown of Houston. Lane 6, Charles Young of Houston. Lane 7, Brian Savage of Baylor. And Larry Wire, Carl Lewis, and Herky Walls running in the first, or supposedly the slowest heat.
They have not had an open time at 200 meters yet this year. They've been running relay legs. They've been maybe running the 100 meters, but they have not run 200 meters. And this, in some ways, could be as good an event as Carl has, I think, Carl Lewis. If he has a slight disadvantage in this race, it's running in lane 2. In our U.S. Olympic trials, no runner in any trial, semifinal, or final in lane 1 finished better than 5th. Guns up.
Carl Lewis should have an outstanding performance in this 200-meter dash, he could be authoring one of the greatest days in track and field. He's already run the 110 flat and his long jump 27 feet 1. Carl Lewis in lane 2 has already made up the stagger on the turn, and he's running against Herky Walls. It is Carl Lewis who's blazing out in front. That is Lewis in front. Herky Walls is running second, but it is nobody's race except Carl Lewis of the University of Houston, winning by 7 yards over Herky Walls of the University of Texas.
I can't wait to see that time. That was a fabulous race. He ran the turn beautifully. Actually, Walls, I thought, got out more quickly in the first 60 meters into the turn, into the wind. The last, maybe 140 yards, the runners had a wind either at their back or at a crosswind to help them. And Lewis, once he gets on track, those legs get rolling, nothing stops him.
Remember, that young man won't be 20 years old until July.
Well, he is America's premier athlete right now, in my opinion, in track and field, as far as the young core coming up. It's amazing a senior like Leslie Carr has to give way to the youth movement and lose to a sophomore in Zeke Jefferson. So this is a young man who's only a sophomore here that you're looking at, Carl Lewis, and this may complete what might be the finest triple ever run in track and field history in the United States.
You know, Jesse Owens, I think, was the last collegian to win both a field and a track event at the NCAAs, and of course Carl Lewis now has to be a distinct threat to do that in Baton Rouge, Louisiana, the first week in June.
It wouldn't surprise me, gentlemen, if Carl Lewis came back from LSU with 30 points. It wouldn't surprise me at all if they'd allow him to run the 200.
And of course he had 30.5 last year, Ralph, and was the high point man of the meet as a freshman.
And Larry, I'd have to take just not a fence, but I'd have to disagree with you a little bit. He is one of the premier. I'd say, in my mind, Carl Lewis right now is a premier track and field athlete in the United States, maybe even in the world.
Well, yeah, maybe I didn't hype him enough, Ralph. But, you know, I don't want to draw quick parallels, but Jesse Owens set world records on one occasion at a conference meet similar to this. I don't know how well he ran his 200 meters, but 10 flat and 27.1 and a half, that we have gotten confirmation was a legal jump. It was not wind aided. That's a great performance in itself, and that was a fast time. That was a great time. I don't know yet what it will be.
Owens ran 20.6 on his 200 at Ann Arbor that year, but he long jumped 26.8 3/4, 26.8 1/4, and ran what was it, 9.4,
9.4, 9.3. I think it was 9.4. Yes, you're right.
And 22.6 on the 200 meter. 220.
Should say that is Carl Lewis there, number 923, walking across the track with James Mays, the outstanding half miler from Texas Tech, who joined him as Lewis completes a slow walk around the remainder of the track. All right.